Colleagues, I think that is the time to continue the conference. This is the session 2. My name is János Szilágyi. I'm the head of the Ferenc Mádl Institute of Comparative Law, and my duty is to invite the next presenter, that is Professor Dalibor Gyukic from University of Belgrade. Professor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, dear Professor Szilágyi. Dear professors, dear friends, it is really a special honor to be here today at this conference, and I would like to express my gratitude to the Central European Academy and to all other co-organizers of this conference and to the Ferenc Mádl Institute of Comparative Law. As you already know, my presentation will be dedicated to the legal protection of state and national symbols in the Republic of Serbia. As we already seen, the legal protection of state, national, and community symbols takes several forms: administratives, the legal protection on the level of misdemeanor, criminal protection, etc. So, because of the lack of time, I will focus on the most remarkable findings of my research. And for more information, of course, you will be able to read the book chapter that will be published. I decided, when I saw that I will be presenter at the last session, I decided to put more pictures on my presentation in order to, I know that we all are exhausted from the all day working, so maybe it will attract your attention and will be easier to follow the presentation. I'm the member of the Department of Legal History in my school, so I must start with some history at the beginning. So from the historical point of view, the legal regulation of state symbols appeared first. And during the 19th century, the struggle for liberation of Serbs in Ottoman Empire was at the same time the struggle for the free use of national symbols. I actually teach national legal history, and I was surprised during the work on my book chapter that actually this struggle to use for the free use of national symbols in Ottoman Empire was very intensive, and that lasted for at least 30 or maybe 40 years in Serbia. You can see here the coat of arms, or anyway the symbols that were used during the first Serbian uprising from 1804 to 1813, and you can see different symbols that were used at the time. For example, there is a coat of arms of what was the coat of arms of Serbia, of Tribalia, that is some mythical land that probably were in Serbia, the coat of arms of Rama. So there was no final decision which one from those symbols will be the symbol of the new state that was at that time in the creation. So after the second uprising, the decision was made that only one of those symbols, in particular this one here, will be used as the coat of arms of the new state, because that was the coat of arms that was perceived as Serbian coat of arms. All those symbols were taken from stematographies. You can see here the two of them. One of them was made by Paul Ritter, or in Croatian Vitezovic, and the other one by Christopher Žefarović, published in the 19th century in in Austrian Empire, actually. Those publications contained several coats of arms that were connected with the land of Serbia. Shortly after the Principality of Serbia gained its independence, according to the provisions of Berlin Peace Treaty, preparations for the proclamation of the kingdom began, and then the idea of improving the appearance of the state coat of arms emerged, and this task was entrusted to well-known Serbian historian Stojan Novaković, who wrote actually the first book in Serbian language regarding the heraldry in Serbia, and studying various coat of arms that were in use in the past, he came up with the idea to combine the coat of arms of Serbia, that you can see from the right, and what was then called the coat of arms of medieval Serbian state, or the state of Nemanjić. You can see from the left side. The new law, the law on coat of arms of the Kingdom of Serbia, was passed in 1882, and the pattern established at the end of the 19th century in the Kingdom of Serbia is still in force. This law is still in force. The Constitution, what is that pattern? You will see now. So the Constitution prescribes the existence of state symbols and regulates them in detail. The Council of Ministers, or the government, then determines the appearance and the graphic design of the coat of arms by a special decision or decree. And finally, the archetype of the coat of arms is made by and kept by a Ministry of Justice. That is, since 1882, the same system that was even in other states. So you can see the combination from the left side, that is restyled and in modern type. During the period of multinational state, in the interwar period and socialist state in the second half of the 20th century, there were attempts of creating new symbols that were based on prevailing ideologies of those periods. So you can see there, for example, Yugoslav integralism on the left, together with symbols of Croatia, Slovenia, and Serbia. Here it is the coat of arms of the Republic of Serbia in Yugoslavia during the socialist Yugoslavia, and you can see that the cross was removed from the coat of arms, something similar that happened in other countries. And on the right, you can see the coat of arms of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. That was the last Yugoslavia that existed. Actually, Serbia, there is, in this aspect, Serbia is different from all other Eastern European and Central European states because it remained in the multinational state for another 15 years. And you can see here the combination that is similar to Czechoslovakian combination. So the symbols of Serbia and Montenegro combined on the shield that is on the double-headed eagle. So the 2006 Constitution of the Republic of Serbia regulated the appearance of the state symbols. The Constitution does not regulate the protection of national symbols. There is one exception, of course. Those are the symbols of national minorities, and this protection is related to the preservation of their identity. The right of autonomous provinces, there are two autonomous provinces, one of Vojvodina in northern and Kosovo in southern Serbia, and local self-government units have the right to determine and regulate the appearance and the use of their symbols according to the Constitution. Also, the Constitution protects the right to free manifestation of religious beliefs, and that means that protects the free use of religious symbols. But the situation is the same as in Croatia. There are no regulations that will regulate the use of symbols of religious organizations. Their coat of arms, their flags. There are no such. That's something that is not. That is something that is not regulated at all. Unlike certain European countries in which exposure to the destruction or defamation of state symbols has been decriminalized or reduced to the level of misdemeanor, the Criminal Code of Serbia prescribes the criminal protection of state symbols. It is pretty much similar like in other countries. So the criminal offense of defamation of Serbia consists of public exposure to the desecration of Serbia and its symbols, flag, coat of arms, etc. The criminal code provides a special defense which applies to this criminal offense. So, for example, if this act was preferred as if this act was committed while performing, for example, serious criticism on scientific basis or something like that, then there is no criminal liability. This defense greatly restricts the criminality of this behavior. There is no judicial practice in this field, except one case. That is the case of the deputy president of the Radical Party, who burned the state flag of the United States in Belgrade. Apart from the USA flag that he was originally accused of burning the flags of the EU, NATO, and so-called Kosovo. But the persecution dropped the charges because those three flags were not state flags. But anyway, he was guilty of burning the US flag, and he was imposed to the 1 month prison sentence. And that's the only case in Serbia that I could find that is connected with criminal protection of state symbols. The law on companies stipulates that the company's name may contain the word Serbia, including all its forms, provided that it obtains the prior consent of the competent authority. Also, the law on trademarks stipulates that a trademark may not protect a sign containing state symbols, except with the approval of the competent authority. The law on legal protection of industrial design stipulates that protection may not be granted to industrial design that contains the coat of arms, flags, etc. But where is the problem? The procedure of obtaining the state's or government's decision that gives the prior consent for using the name of the state's name, the name of Serbia, is actually regulated in detail. And if you ask me how can I get the approval to use the name of Serbia in the name of my business in Serbia, it will be very easy. But if you want to ask for the other consent, so for the industrial design or for trademarks, there are no any regulation. I don't know how you can get the consent of the state or any other competent approval of any competent authority. So during the work on my book chapter, I had to overcome many obstacles, and as all of you probably. And one of them was actually maybe the largest one, the noise that my children were making. But sometimes if not always, actually, children can inspire. I saw my youngest son playing with this ball during the work that I had to do. And that inspired me to investigate if there are any rules that regulate how you can print. For example, here you can see the coat of arms of Serbia. Are there any rules for this kind of commercial use of state symbols? Actually, there are not, at least in Serbia. I don't know in other countries. In the literature, you can find the opinion that the principle of free usage of state symbols is implemented in those cases. So you are free to print the state symbol on your T-shirt or on the wall, on mask, or whatever you want. There is another opinion that this principle of free use of state emblems helps the state to promote its identity and to promote the state, for example. From the other side, there is a question, should some limits be introduced in this field? Maybe I understand that then the other side will say this field will be over-regulated then maybe, but from the other side, maybe some limitations, at least to protect the state symbols from immoral or improper use, should be introduced. We can discuss about that later. I must return this ball to Belgrade because you will hear the noise in all Central European countries. Also, I wanted to present two recently adopted laws in Serbia. I as a Serb should always disagree with the Croatians, but I must agree with my dear colleague from Zagreb that language is really important symbol, and last year new law was adopted in Serbia regulating the use of Serbian language, and that is something that is more important than language, that is a script or alphabet. Probably you know that we use both alphabets, the Cyrillic and Roman. The Cyrillic script is considered as the symbol of Serbian national identity. The use of Roman alphabet, anyway, in everyday life has prevailed for, I should say, practical reasons. Probably most of us, we use English every day, and it is easier to use the Roman script even for our language. There was a need now to renew, let's say, the use of Cyrillic script and to take some measures to protect it. The goal of this law that was recently passed was to protect the Cyrillic script and also to I have 2 minutes more. Okay. But also to help or to enforce on some way the use of Cyrillic script in public life, in public sphere. This law goes beyond the similar laws in other countries that regulate the official use of language or the use of the official language. So the law declared the Serbian language a public good of a national culture, while the Cyrillic alphabet was declared the mother script of the Serbian language. This law prescribes the obligatory use of the Serbian language and the Cyrillic script by the state bodies and all other organizations that exercise public authority, public companies, public services, all the educational institutions of all levels. It is also envisaged that tax and administrative reliefs for businesses and other entities that use the Cyrillic script can be established. I must say at the end that this law applies also to the languages and scripts of all national minorities. So it is not only about the Serbian language and Serbian script. And finally, another interesting law that passed last year also is about the protection or preservation of the cultural and historical heritage of the holy monastery Hilandar. That is the monastery located in northern Greece. It is Serbian national and religious symbol. I do not have time now to explain it. Yes, that's it. To explain it. Anyway, it is interesting that the state regulates the protection of the symbol that is outside of its borders. In the end, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I will be grateful to hear your insights and your questions during the debate. Thank you.